I was like 2 weeks into JavaScript. That will be well, I
Okay,
started
so a
in
little
June
more.
class, I think. Yeah, I
Okay,
was almost done.
you were moving pretty fast. So anyway, Juan is one of our students from this year. He is from Colombia. He's only 18 years old, and he's working remotely for a really cool startup in Colombia. But before we jump into learning more about Juan, please remember there are two tabs in this platform in Big Marker. There's a chat tab. Feel free to like send messages, encouraging us, like whatever you want to share there. There is a Q&A tab. You can post any question you have for me or for Juan, hopefully for Juan. We're gonna go questions at the end, or as we see it convenient, but it's the best way to keep track of all the questions. So please, share any question you have with us using the Q&A section. Okay, so I have prepared a lot of questions for you, Juan. Juan and I had the chance to meet in person, I think a month ago in Medellin, Colombia, where he's
Yes.
originally from. I was spending some time there. So, Juan, tell us about you, some little background about, who you are, where are you coming from, and, what are you doing?
Well, yeah, I'm from Colombia, Medellin. I did school, and maybe I didn't actually know what I was going to study, and I decided that I wanted to study computer science. So I joined the university. I did 2 semesters, and that's when I heard about Microverse from a Facebook ad, I think. And there's that. I joined Microverse, had an amazing experience there, and yeah, I just got a job 2 weeks into JavaScript. I got a job offer. I applied. I did the steps, and I got the job. And well, now I'm here.
That's awesome. We're gonna talk a lot about that job because I think so many people are curious about, what can I do to get to that job, which kind of jobs I can get into. But before we get there, like, how did you start learning to code?
Well, I started to code in my last year of high school.
Okay, and was it like a class in high school, or you learn by yourself?
Yeah, I mean, we did have a class about like programming, but like Visual Studio, so not too sophisticated. And I started doing tutorials on Freakout Camp, Code Academy, stuff like that by my own.
And how much coding did you know before joining Microverse?
Oh, very little. I did the basics. I knew a little bit of HTML, a little bit of CSS, and then when I joined the university, then I understood a little bit more about um, like programming logic and stuff like that.
I'm super curious to learn why did you decide to drop out from university, from I guess computer science you were doing at university. Why did you decide to drop out after 2 semesters there, and why and what did you do after that?
Yeah, I'm like the main reason I dropped out is because it was the end of the semester and I saw the opportunity on Microverse. My career path before Microverse would be like finish college, that's 5 years, and then apply to a local job, get some hands-on experience, and then apply to a remote job. That's like my big goal. What my big goal was. So I just saw that Microverse as an opportunity to make that like that whole career a little bit shorter.
So you basically skipped or like saved 5 years of your life.
Yeah, basically.
Well, I mean, I think college is a great experience for many people. We always talk a lot about how college is not just about learning things; it's also about the social side of things. Getting to meet people who are like you, who are going through the same experience at the same age. That's a very unique life experience. Did you get any of that social side of things at Microverse, even though it was a completely like online experience, not like in campus?
Yes, you definitely do that. I mean, the stand-ups. I gotta open my cat's door, and
No.
the stand-up in the morning and being able to share your day with all your um, like another students that are going through the same things you're doing. It's great, and you can. I miss that because now I'm working remotely. I don't do any. I have a stand up, but it's just a message through Slack, and you definitely miss that. But it's amazing being able to that experience to share what you're learning with your other fellow students. It's great.
Were you able to like talk and do things that were not just, the coding that Microverse tells you to do? Were you able to like have other kind of conversations, maybe like more personal conversations with other students?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we only talk a little bit about coding because we have been coding all day long. So just wanted to chat about whatever.
Okay. And I'm curious to hear, what did your family say, or the people around you, your friends, your family, when you told them that you were gonna like drop out from college to join this like online school that you have found on Facebook?
Well, it was weird for everybody, but my family like supported me like really well. They knew that it was a good opportunity, and also I was like pretty young to enter college, and I was now dropping out. It's like, okay, just try that out. If it works, great. If not, you can always go back to college. So they were really supportive.
That makes sense. We talk a lot about this and how important it is, like support. And I think, that's 50% of what we do at Lectors is to try to create layers of support around your like daily learning experience through, your stand-up team, your coding partner, your mentor, the co-reviewers, but also the student success team, the career coaches. But that by itself is not enough unless you have the mental stability, the financial support, the family support. And I know for many people it's hard to help their families understand why what they are doing, what they're deciding to do makes sense. So it's really great to hear that you got that kind of support, because I guess that helps you stay focused on the learning side of things and not trying to like convince your family that you were doing the right things, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Microverse is it's a challenge for many of us, and having that support there, like you miss it. You need that support.
How was your experience, like day-to-day experience on Microverse? Like what were you expecting that maybe you didn't get? What were you expecting that you get? And what were the things that you were not expecting at all that you got?
Okay, I was expecting like my capabilities were like way too low. I was expecting that okay, maybe I don't know enough JavaScript, maybe I don't know enough HTML. But what I encountered is that many of my students knew more about me, more HTML, more coding than I did. But they were like so supportive, and they encouraged me to keep learning. And it's also like I know a little bit about this topic, you know a little bit about that topic, so that collaboration, you learn much more than what you were expecting by just doing the curriculum by yourself.
What will you say was the most helpful thing that you got through Microverse or through the Microverse community, or at any other way, maybe through your friends or family, that help you get to that first job that you just got?
I think that I think that does Microverse does really well is like making sure you feel more confident about your coding skills. Like the fact that you're solving a hard challenge every morning, it helps to build that confidence. And then without having that confidence, I wouldn't have replied to the message of the job offer.
It's crazy how common the imposter syndrome is, even on people
Yes.
who are like super smart, super talented. I think most people like doubt themselves and they think, yeah, I'm probably not good enough for this. I don't know enough. And often people know more than what actually what they need. It's just that that confidence really shows up in your like job interviews, and if you have it, it helps you so much. It does like half of the job for you. We have seen people going to job interviews, and someone ask them, okay, how will you solve this challenge, and they start by saying, well, I'm probably wrong about this, and I'm not really sure. I don't know much about this, but I'm gonna try. So they're like undermining themselves just from the beginning, and instead of saying, okay, here's what I will try, and there might be a more optimized solution, but we're gonna get to that later. Let's start with this. So just showing that you don't know anything, so you can be still humble, but showing confidence is a very important skill. So I'm glad you got to get that kind of support. But I think from our conversation in Colombia last month. I got something from you that I value a lot, and I think everyone in Microverse values a lot. And we value it so much that we actually made it one of the core values of the company. So when we hire someone new to join the team, or when we accept a student, it's one of the main things we're looking for. And it's being an eager learner, and being someone who's always trying to learn new things. That curiosity. I remember asking you, okay, what are you doing now? That you got this job, and you surprised me by saying you were learning something new that had nothing to do with the coding. So I wanted to ask you, what is one thing that you are trying to learn, a new thing you're trying to learn on the professional side of things, and what is one thing you're trying to learn on the personal side of things?
Okay, I'll start with the personal. I'm trying to learn piano. So that's a personal challenge for me, and it helps a lot. Like thinking about a different thing that's not coding. And one professional thing, I don't know, because like not related to code, I have like many things I want to learn, but I cannot find like the time in the schedule. And but yeah, I didn't give like that context. I'm working in backend. But I really like design. So maybe that like learning UX and UI. That's like really interesting for me, and I haven't touched that at all.
I think you really surprised me when you mentioned the thing about piano. I was like, so you just got a new job. It's your first job as a developer. It is remote. You're joining a company. How large is the team?
It's only in tech. We're about 50, 60 people.
So 50, 60 developers doing tech. So I'm guessing there's like a huge code base that you have to learn from scratch. And not
Yeah.
only you're finding time to, get up to speed with that, but you're making time to learn piano. That is impressive, I think.
Thanks. Yeah, you have to do something else. You cannot just read the code, and it helps a lot to think about, I don't know, Chopin, whatever.
Yeah, no, I absolutely I agree with you. And I was just playing guitar a little bit before starting the event. It just helps like clear your mind, and I
Yes.
feel like sometimes you are stuck with some bug or some error, like a problem, and you're trying to just like solve it by brute force, and then you go play the piano a little bit, go for a walk, come back, and you find the solution in a second. It's such a weird feeling as a developer.
Yes, it's really weird. Like most of the solutions doesn't come to mind when I'm actually seeing the code. It's like, okay, I'm gonna take a shower. Oh, I know how to do that.
Showers are very powerful. I agree.
Yes.
So, tell us about this job. What is it that you're doing, and who is this company that you're working for?
Okay, the company is it's a startup, Colombian-based startup. That the main the main how to put that? Yeah, the main thing we do is commuting solutions. If you can, it's like Uber, but motorcycles and also cars. That's like the main business line. But
Okay.
it's a really fast-growing startup, so there are many other um, business lines that I haven't touched too much. But I'm currently working on an internal application.
What can you tell us a little more about that internal tool?
Yes, it's basically I'm working with invoices. I'm working with automation with regarding like the tax status of the company and things like that.
It was really impressive to me when I got to Colombia last month, and I saw what Rappi. Rappi is just for context for everyone else, is if not the one of the fastest growing startups in Latin America. They are valued at several like billions of dollars. They came out of Y Combinator like Microverse did, but a few years earlier than us, and they're growing like crazy. They're everywhere in Colombia. Everything happens through Rappi. How you get someone to give you a ride, how to get someone to bring you like groceries from the store. Maybe you want to send a package to someone else, like they'll take care of that. It's really impressive. So I was really excited to see like the tech ecosystem in Colombia, and it sounds like the company you're working for, it's also in a similar space. It's on the transportation and also growing really fast, right?
Yes,
It's one of the things to me that was like kind of mind blowing is when we think about microverse, there's so much going on in terms of like daily operations that students don't get to see. And I was thinking about Rappi, how much needs to happen behind the scene for Rappi to work. And so I'm guessing a lot of the tools that you're working on, that you're building as a developer for Picap, are those tools that are like keeping things running in the background, even though users might not see them directly, right?
absolutely. Yeah, you get to see like the other side of things, like you can log to a production environment and you can see your code running. And okay, it just created like 9 million registers. Okay, that's something. That and it's difficult to like wrap your head around it, that you can write some lines of code and now it's affecting a whole operation.
Yeah, I can't imagine how it must be to see, because I think as developers we often see just the UI and the UX that the students or customers or users interact with. We don't see much of all the software supporting the internal operations. So sounds like a very unique experience in the sense that not only it seems to be a good job, but also a job that is letting you see how a company operates, right?
Yes, it's really really interesting.
And how did you get into this job? It sounds like you didn't finish Microverse. You were in the middle of Microverse, and you got to the job. You said that someone reached out to you. What happened between that moment and you signing to work for this company?
Okay, so for a little bit of context, I was in the week off after Ruby on Rails, and I was starting to set up my LinkedIn profile, my Twitter profile, putting all the pictures everywhere, getting all the information right. Um, I just did like a really, really basic LinkedIn profile, and yeah, just started working in JavaScript. Then I got a message through LinkedIn saying, "Hey, we saw your profile. Are you interested in joining? These are the like the terms. Just leave me your phone. I'll give you a call." I did that. Did the whole process. I did a technical test, and then I got the job.
That's fast. We see a lot of people interviewing, and in most cases, you go through several rounds. It sounds like in this case, it was mostly just the initial phone screening and then the technical interview, and that was it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think? It was so fast.
I don't know. I think they are growing like really really fast, and they really need the like the technical muscle to do that.
And what was the technical interview like? What did you have to do there?
Oh, I did a they sent me a link to a coding challenge, like yeah, three coding challenges, and and I did like really really good on the score. It was like 0 to 100. I did like 80, 83, something like that. So I had a good score, and they just said like, okay, we're gonna keep doing all the other tests, and the other test was just like a personality test, and that was it.
The personality test, was it like someone talking to you, or was it like an online thing as well?
Yeah, an online thing.
Okay, and the technical test, was it in like a platform like HackerRank or something like that, or you remember?
Yeah, it's called Testum. I'm gonna write it in the chat.
Hmm.
There we go.
That's known. Okay.
And you can do like some tests, some free tests, and they give you like a certificate. So you guys should try that out.
Absolutely. So, which kind of technical challenges did you have to do there?
It was about Ruby on Rails. I did like maybe two or three questions, like multiple uh, option questions, and then I did some live code challenges, very similar to the daily coding challenges you do in Microverse.
So it was like algorithms and data structures, and
Yeah,
on one hand, and also about specifically about Ruby on Rails.
yeah. For example, one of them, I think it was like a um, like to invert a string or
Mhm.
something has to do with the strings, and the other one was about a tree, like a binary tree, stuff like that.
So was it something that was like really simple to solve, or having worked on the morning coding challenges on Microverse like gave you the kind of theory for that?
Yeah, working on the daily challenges definitely helped on that interview because like the way that they present the problem, the way you have to interpret all that, and then actually code a solution for that. um, it's it's what you do in the daily coding challenges.
Okay. So what was the onboarding like? So they made you an offer, and this is for a remote job, right? So you were in Medellin. Where is the rest of the team?
Oh, the rest of the team is distributed
Uh-huh.
in they're mostly Colombia. I think they're hiring in Mexico as well, but most of the tech team is based in Colombia. So they gather all the team because they were changing offices, like the location. And I had to do a 3 week trip to Bogota, and I got to meet all the team there. It was just like amazing. You get to the site, and there are people working everywhere. The first thing the HR um, people. It's like, okay, this is your contract. Just sign here, and here you go. You have a MacBook. It's like, okay, this is my it was like really weird to me. I was just working from my home, like doing stuff on another old computer, and now you get to know how the things get done, like on like for real.
So they basically like flew you to from Medellin to Bogota, so you could spend 3 weeks with them.
Yep,
Did they pay for like flight, accommodation, food, and everything in the process?
everything.
That's usually a sign of a good kind of company that you want to work for, because often companies will want to like hire remotely just as a way to like hire like people like in a cheap way. But when you see a company that is hiring remotely but investing resources on those people, but they fly you, they make sure that you have a good mentor, that you have a good computer to work from, uh, that kind of investment tells you that it's not that they're hiring because it's cheaper. It's just they're hiring because they want to get as many great people as they can. So they're just looking everywhere, not just around them, right? Well, that's great. So you said that you felt like weird about this process. Why was it?
Because you get to know because I had used the application before, um, and you get to know the people that run it, the people that write the code that makes the whole thing work. It's like, okay,
So basically, because you were a user of the app, and now you were the one
yes,
meeting all the people who were building it. That's great. So you are 18 years old, just got this job working remotely after dropping out of college, really young, but working remotely for a cool startup. What did your like friends and family think about it?
I think they are all as excited as I am because it's also weird for them. Like maybe Microverse help like establishing like how remote work works, and like oh hey, he's in a meeting, and we were like it they were like work sharing the all the spaces with me as if I was working in um, already in Microverse, you know? Like in Microverse was like the step that made them like realize, okay, he's working now.
Interesting. So basically, at Microverse, while you were in Microverse, they like your family, they got used to you being in the house. Didn't mean that you were, available to do whatever. You were actually working there, right?
Yes, exactly. Like they knew that even though I was in my room, maybe watching a YouTube video because I was taking a short break, I was working. Like I'm thinking about something else. It's like okay, he's working right now.
That is another thing we talked a lot about during the acceptance call when new people are about to join the school is sure, we talk about support we can bring, support of your family, and it's like having the right environment where you have people who are respecting your time, your space. It's so important. Otherwise, the kind of work you do as a developer requires so much like focus work that if you don't get that focus, you get really little productivity, and you might end up not performing well, not because you're not a great developer, but because you don't have the right environment. So
Yes.
sounds like you had a really supportive family. It's that's very encouraging, I guess. Um, so what does a typical day look like? In your I guess the whole day, covering both the work and the personal side of things.
Okay, so I have to write like the I don't have a fixed like hours I have to do. I don't have a starting hour and then end hour. You know, I just have to write like a daily report. It's my stand up. I do it before 9 a.m. I have to write the stand up through Slack. Mm, and then I usually write it before I take like breakfast. Then I go take breakfast. I check, okay, what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna do this, and that. How I'm gonna do this. It usually helps. Like having a pen and paper works. I do it on the notes. I just do a to-do list. Like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that, this way and this way, and I just get to work until it's. I work like maybe 1 hour intervals, and then do something else. It's like okay, I work 1 hour, and then I take a 10-minute break so I can clear my head, do something else, get some food, and just keep working.
And then, what time of the day did you finish? Like, do you normally finish, and what do you do after that?
I usually finish about 5, 6 o'clock. Um, there are days when I finish much earlier. Other days I get until 7, 7:30, and then I just grab like I gather to eat with my family. And you're tired. I just want to like maybe play some piano and just go to sleep.
No, that's great. Do you have to go again to the like offices in Bogota, or it's always gonna be working remotely?
It's always gonna be remote. They did tell me that maybe they if they needed like a personal meeting, they would fly me there. And then if they were going to like open an office here in Medellin, there will only be like spontaneous meetings. Like I wouldn't have to go to the office every day just to do a meeting, and then I can keep working remotely.
Okay, so even if they open a space to facilitate meetings, it's just gonna be something you use whenever you feel like using it. Do
Yep.
they do any kind of like like annual or biannual like team retreat where they gather everyone? This is something that many remote companies we are doing.
I don't know. I think they do. Uh, what they did when my onboarding was pretty much that, like not a
Mhm.
retreat because we were working, but they did gather almost the whole team. They flew people from Spain, Brazil, people from Argentina, from
Oh
everywhere,
wow.
that were working on like more not non-tech stuff. They flew to Bogota to get to meet all the community.
Oh, so even though those people were not new people joining the company, they had been there maybe for a few months already. They still flew those people to the central office in Colombia, right?
Yes.
I was reading the other day a tweet that said something like, if the team retreat is like feels like a vacation to the team is not the right thing that you organize. Most companies are organizing this kind of team retreats for their employees and team members to have the opportunity to like spend time together to bond. No, but that doesn't mean that they're not working those times. But it seems to be something really important because remote work, it's amazing. It gives you a lot of freedom, but nothing replaces that physical connection with your coworkers, and seems to influence a lot the productivity of the teams and the capacity to collaborate across different teams. So this is another area where it is, I think, a great sign that you found a company that is investing in their employees also by doing that. So I don't have, I guess, one last question, and then we're gonna go to the Q&A. We have a lot of questions from people.
Absolutely.
So my last question is, what is one or two things that you would like recommend the microverse students and the extended microverse community, people who are considering like switching to a tech jobs, becoming developers? What is one or two things that you recommend that they do to help themselves get to this first job in tech?
Okay, I think that like the main thing would be like always have a challenge you want to work in your mind. Like you get you grab a difficult. This is like by this technical side of things. Grab like a difficult coding challenge that you okay, this might be interesting, and think about it. Just think about how are you gonna work, how which steps are you gonna follow. Try to like have all that structured, and I think that really helps to like develop that logical thinking. And also, if you get to the point that when you can, okay, I'll do it this way. Oh, I know I cannot do it that way because I'm gonna have this problem. That's great because it shows like you're really thinking it from different perspectives, and I think it really helps the like the code quality you end up typing
And you said to think about it, by writing code, or to think before you write the code.
before writing the code. Just thinking
Okay.
about it, not writing any code. And then if you feel like it, just yeah, just sit and start doing start writing code.
How much time do you normally spend analyzing, thinking about a problem or a challenge before you start like writing code?
I think it depends. If it's like a really delicate and intricate piece of code, I usually stand away from the computer and just see the code and start thinking about it. If it's something that I'm really confident about, I would just start doing it.
Do you have any, sense of whether, is there any specific technology, language that you think people should be like prioritizing to learn to maximize their chances of getting a job?
I think they should challenge, but like think more about the what uh, what to learn next. They should prioritize like just learning like the logic, just understanding how programming works. Maybe if you want to know a little bit about functional programming, then go ahead and learn a little bit about that to just to familiarize yourself. But I think that once you have like the logic down, you can switch through programs really through languages really easily. So they should focus on just problem solving. And the other thing I saw on a tweet the other day, they to learn how to approach mistakes and how to debug a piece of code that you already have. That's like a
Mhm.
really important skill you want to have when you're actually working.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, thanks Juan for answering my huge amount of questions. We have even more questions from people in the community. I was gonna take a look at we have 207 people listening to us right now. Most people are in the process of starting a career. So let's see which kind of questions we're getting. I saw some questions about the selection process, and you Juan talked about the kind of coding challenges. Maybe one thing just to complete the answer to that question is, you said that you had some kind of questions on the kind of psychological side of things, maybe like behavioral, or to understand like personality tests. Which kind of questions did they ask you?
Just like you have three personal traits. Choose the one that fits you better. That kind of questions.
Hmm.
Like,
Okay.
do you find yourself more talkative, or are you more like just those kinds of questions? I just answered them like with honesty.
Hmm. Yeah, no, that makes total sense. Another question from Ramsey was, well, how did you get your job? And I think specifically he was asking about like, did you apply to that job or they found you?
Yeah, they found me. They reached out to me.
And was it through LinkedIn?
Yeah, a message through LinkedIn.
What do you think was it about your LinkedIn profile that made them want to reach out to you?
The I think the thing that stood out was that the whole tech stack they are using, it's the same as the one you learn in Microverse. It's exactly the same. You have Ruby on Rails on the back end, and we have React in front end. So yeah, I think that it's like a really like big influence in that.
Yeah, that's great. We always get people saying, well, why not learning like Python? So many companies want Python. Why not Node.js? And the answer is what you said. First, learn like foundations because then you can apply that to any language. And second, you don't need every company to give you a job. Just need one good company, right? One that you like. And so it's a matter of finding the right match between your skills and the skills they're looking for. And it doesn't matter what you learn. There will always be a company who's looking for that kind of skills. And when there is a good fit, it's just that connection happens. And of course, then you have to do a good job that I'm sure you did at convincing them, passing the coding challenges. But the first step is finding that match of skills, which by the way takes us to one question that is not about technical skills. It's about the like soft skills, communication, collaboration, which is what was your English level, I guess before Microverse, and yeah, when before you started Microverse, and
Oh,
how
this is
was it after that?
that's a great question. Well, I did receive like some English classes in high school, but just like the school, what the school teaches us, and it wasn't that great. I mostly learned English by myself, just watching videos and like reading lots of stuff in English. And I think that Microverse was it's like the turning point where you say, okay, now I'm confident talking in English, and just I can speak fluently. Well, sort of, and but I think that Microverse did that. That like the fact that you're speaking the whole day and you're trying to understand another person point of view of a problem in English, it like consolidates all the knowledge you have.
I think one, the fact that you are presenting or like talking in a webinar to 215 people kind of suggests that people can understand you very well when you speak English. I would say.
Yeah,
So,
maybe.
what did you notice a big change in your fluency in your English between the moment you joined Microverse and when you got your first job?
Yeah, absolutely. Like once you stop, like once you start talking in English every day, it becomes every time it becomes easier. And then when you just stop talking in English, it's like okay, I have to think a little bit more about how to say this thing. But it's like it sticks with you once you have like a little bit of fluency. Like you can just go ahead.
Yeah, it's why like I'm personally fast at learning the theory of languages. My listening capacity is not that good, that strong, but I knew the theory of
Yep.
English very well. But it wasn't until I moved to the U.S. When I was 24, 25 that I started using it every single day. That I started becoming more confident and comfortable like speaking in English every day. So we made some calculations, and I think any micro student who joins it's a full-time program, so you spend like 8, 9, sometimes 10 hours a day, most of that time working with your coding partner speaking in English. If you do that, by the time you graduate, which in average takes like 7 to 8 months, you went pretty fast one, by the way. You get to have more than 1,000 hours of English
Yep.
practice, which it's a lot if what you have is the theory, the grammar, the vocabulary, but you're missing the fluency, the confidence to speak it every day. So I think that's a very important and maybe hidden benefit of my career is that you get to spend the
Yeah.
whole day just speaking in English. Just that by itself, I think it has a lot of value. Um, Someone was asking, like Sandy was asking, which one is it, front end or back end developer that offers like better jobs? Do you do both, or which one?
Okay, I don't think there are like better jobs in backend or front end. It really depends on what you like doing. If you like doing front end, then if you get a backend job, you're not gonna be as happy. Or maybe you are, and you realize that backend is your passion. But my job is backend. I think both offers like really good jobs. You can get really good jobs in both backend and front end, and also full stack. I'm currently just working in backend. I do like I know that there are gonna be some projects that I'll work in inside the company that are gonna require a little bit of a front end, but not much.
That's great. Do they use any specific like JavaScript framework on the front end?
I'm not sure. I think they use. No, I don't know if what they're doing with the JavaScript part. I know they're not like working. They don't have much infrastructure based on JavaScript.
I think. Okay. Is Pickup hiring?
Yes, it is
Okay,
hiring.
we'll need to get a few other micro students there. So we'll work together on that. But on the other side, to the 213 people listening right now, there is a lot that you can do to start getting ready for those opportunities. Microverse is one way, but there's a lot more and a lot of other things you can do. I think the English practice is really important, not necessarily for pickup because all the communication is in Spanish.
Yep.
Okay, so I guess that is somehow limiting if your language is not Spanish. But like Pickup, there are like many other companies, and someone in fact was asking, are there like remote jobs that offer flexible working hours, and how common is this type of job? I don't know, Juan, if you have any insight into that, any.
I really I wish I could answer this question like better, but I don't have like much experience in the field. I like I just followed the steps to the message in LinkedIn just to know how the payment was here locally, and well, I ended up getting the job and working for them.
Uh,
But
that,
I
that,
don't know about the the time flexibility, it depends. I think it varies a
Like
lot.
I as a manager, as a CEO of a remote company, Microverse, and I also manage remote people in my previous job and the last two jobs, and I'm working with a lot of the other CEOs and founders of remote companies, and the a way to answer that question is that when you manage a remote team, you don't know if they're working or not. So if you want to control manage your team just by putting fixed hours, there's no way to really test that. I mean, maybe you can do some kind of use some kind of software, but people will find ways to like fake that they're working. So that creates a really interesting incentive for you as a manager to want to switch from like fixed hours and number of hours to measure productivity to actually measuring how those hours are translating into an output or an outcome, right? So you go from measuring hours, measuring, how many, pull requests this person created, how many comments this person made, how many story points they completed in like their sprint, and that is a much more accurate thing, which means that as a manager you don't have to worry anymore about whether they work like 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 hours. What matters to you is like, are they contributing to the company? And that means that people have plenty of flexibility to work any hours they want. That is a long explanation to say that to Yassine, who was asking that most of the remote jobs at least tend to have flexible hours because controlling the number of hours doesn't do much for remote managers. Okay. Maria was asking, when did you graduate from Microverse?
I haven't.
That's interesting. Like Maria, like Juan got the job right after finishing JavaScript, so he didn't get to finish Microverse. He didn't finish React or Redux, nor the all the career prep. Which, by the way, Juan, I want to use this as an opportunity to remind you and everyone listening that as a Microverse member, whether you graduated or not, you do have access to our network of hiring partners and career coaches for the rest of your lives. So nothing will make us happier than Juan, maybe next year, in 2 years, 3 years, whatever that is, you coming back to one of our career coaches and getting their help to get your next job and negotiating your salary, maximizing your opportunities. Maybe you go from working remotely for a Colombian startup to working remotely for I don't know, like a company like GitLab, so you get to work with people from all around the world in English. But I think that's a very important benefit of Microverse is that you get access to those kind of things as many times as you need. So the idea is that we're going to be helping you grow in your career, but hopefully, Juan, you're going to be super happy with your current job for a long time, and they're going to take good care of you. So if they're listening to us, they better do because you're really worth it. So
Thanks.
okay, perfect. Eric was asking how long it took you to understand Java, HTML, or Python at Microverse. I'm just gonna comment on that briefly. That we don't teach Java or Python at Microverse. The curriculum goes from HTML, CSS to Ruby, Ruby on Rails, JavaScript, and React and Redux, plus all the work on algorithms and data structures. So, Juan, you said that you kind of got the job at the end of JavaScript. How long did it take you to go from HTML and CSS to finish in JavaScript?
Well, it took me. I started on the June class, so I don't have access. I haven't logged to the Microverse dashboard. I could see the hours, but I don't know. But it really depends. Like depends on what you like doing. If you like front end, maybe backend, it's gonna be a little bit more challenging in the beginning. If you like backend, front end, it's gonna be a little bit more challenging in the beginning,
Makes sense.
and it varies a lot. Also, you can have like a really good understanding on one concept of the language, and then another concept you don't understand that well. So it depends on the thing you're working on at the moment.
That makes sense. Julio was asking, what was the most difficult situation you faced while you were on Microverse, and how did you tackle it?
Okay, I think one of the most difficult and stressful and tiring situations I experience in Microverse was the final Ruby on Rails project, the Facebook clone, because we got many code reviews, um, and most of them were declined. There were linting errors. There were uh, like errors in the logic. Just everywhere. That was one of the most stressing projects I have ever worked in. But also, it's the project where I have learned the most.
Yeah, and it's a pretty long and big project. Just for context, it's the last project at the end of Ruby on Rails. We It's so long that in fact we ask people to take a week off after finishing it because it's pretty exhausting. And after a week off, you come back to finishing JavaScript and React and Redux, but that goes pretty fast. So yeah, I bet. And also for some additional context for people who are here today who are not students, when you work on a project in Microverse, you have to submit it for a code review at the end. Or in the case of the Facebook clone, there are different milestones, and you have to submit code review request after each milestone so we can see that you're progressing in the right way. And sometimes your code reviewer will come back to you saying, you have to change X, Y, and Z, and you have to work on that and submit a new code review. So it sounds like Juan, in your case, you have to go through quite a few of them, right?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
correct.
Okay, we have like 5 more minutes, so I'm gonna try to like be a little bit selective with the questions. Something we can do is I don't know Juan how you feel about this, but maybe we can move these to Twitter after this. So I'm just gonna post a message. I think Juan, you don't use Twitter much, right?
Yeah, I don't tweet much, but I do watch Twitter quite a lot.
Okay, perfect. So you're more like me, like more like a passive user of Twitter. So let's do something. I will anything that we can answer. I'm gonna post it as a question to you on Twitter. So people, let me. Can you remind me on what your Twitter handler was?
Oh, I'll message it to you right now.
Just
Um,
put it on. Put your link to your Twitter
oh, okay,
account on the
I'll
chat.
put it here.
I think that's gonna be easier. So you can, as soon as you do it, I'm gonna put mine.
Absolutely. Mm,
Let me know when you do it. I'll do the same.
okay, I just have to check it because I never used it. Okay, that's the Twitter handle. You can just
Perfect. And I just
invite me
put
there.
mine. So we have coding and Garita, and then Ariel Camus. Just let me actually put a link directly to your profile. Um, that way they can
Oh
just
yeah, that would be
click on the link and follow us. And we're gonna be probably not right away, but maybe I'll start asking some questions, and then you can answer them maybe in the next couple of days. Just follow us. We're gonna be answering those questions. And okay, let's use like the next like 2 3 minutes to answer a couple new ones. Um, I think this is a really good one from Julia. From Julia too. It's like when you joined this startup, did you feel like you were not ready or up to the challenge?
okay. That's a great question. Yeah, like one of my initial thoughts. I mean, my Scrum Master told me about this problem he wanted me to work on, and I really wasn't understanding anything at all about what was going on. It's like I know you have explained me like maybe 3 times, but I really don't understand what is this. I don't know what I'm working on. It's like, okay, it's perfectly fine. And he sat with me with a piece of paper and explained the like the flow of the application, and this goes here, and now what you're gonna do does that. Oh, okay, I get it. But yeah, one of the first things I thought is like, okay, I'm not prepared for this. But the key to solve that kind of problems, it's communication. You have to
Mhm.
communicate your problems. If you encounter a problem, you try work on it and you don't know how to solve it, just reach out to somebody. If you're a student in Microverse, just reach out to your mentor, reach out to one of the code reviewers, because you can really get stuck on a problem that maybe is not that hard, and that just by somebody sharing their perspective on the problem, you can solve it.
I think that's a great answer, Juan, because we often hear from employers that it is really hard to tell, especially with junior developers, whether they're having stuck on something really simple for the last 2 days or because they're not in the same office, you don't know, right? So the advice
Yeah.
that we give everyone is always reach out to people around you. But there's the wrong and the right way to do it. The wrong one is like, hey, I'm stuck with this. Help me. Do it for me. The right one is, hey, I'm stuck on this. I've tried this and this and this and this. I think this is the right direction. So this is what I'm going to do next. And don't worry, I'm going to continue working on this, just as a report, not as a request for help. And then your manager, your boss, your coworkers can decide, well, is he close to the solution? He will figure it out, or it will be good for them to figure it out by himself, or is he stuck on something really simple that I can just answer with one line and save him like 2 days of work, right? So please reach out to your team, to in Microverse, to your co-reviewers, your mentor, your stand-up team, because just letting people know that you're stuck on something will give them context to know how they can help you if you need help now, right? Okay, so we're gonna leave it here. We have a lot of other questions, so please follow us on Twitter if you have a Twitter account. If not, we recommend that you create one because um, this is a statistic we share a lot with people. 80% of the job opportunities are never posted online. Okay, that means that if you depend just on finding jobs online, you are limiting your potential job opportunities by 80%. So how do you get to those opportunities? Very simple, networking. Okay, Twitter is a great tool for networking. You can get to connect with people who you never imagined were gonna, answer to you, but because you're publishing things publicly, people want to, get back to you. So if you don't have a Twitter account, this is a great opportunity to do it. We will be posting some of the questions there. And by the way, you can also ask questions to me or to Juan directly on Twitter if you have them.
Absolutely.
So yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for participating today. Remember, if you have any question that is specific about Microverse, okay, you can go to info@microverse.org, and we have a team that is waiting for your questions to help you decide if this is the right decision for you, if this is the right time for you. Different life circumstances create different environments for all of you, so we want to make sure that you are prepared and help you in any way we can. So Juan, thank you so much for taking 1 hour today from work to to share your experience with everyone here. I'm sure it was very inspiring to see someone so young who is already being really successful. And I want to emphasize again how much of that is because of you and because of your passion, your curiosity, your eagerness, like to learn new things. Sure, there are a lot of jobs waiting out there, but if you don't show that passion, that commitment, that determination, companies won't see those things. So congratulations, Juan, for this job, and we are really really excited at Microverse to see you grow in this career. We like it really makes me happy to imagine where you will be in like 3, 5, 10 years. I'll be following you.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, just I wanted to do this because just to give a little bit back to the community I've been part of, and I'm still part of, even though I don't join the Slack that much, and I don't see the questions. You can always reach out to me, maybe by email, it's better, or LinkedIn or Twitter. Just whatever. Just reach out to me if you have any question. And yeah, I hope it like motivated you guys and helped you guys like to understand that what you're doing it's like really worth it, and that your effort it really shows up.
Thank you, Juan, and thank you, everyone. So have a great rest of the week and rest like a great weekend. And we'll see you again for the next Lunch and Learn, hopefully with another micro student with a great story like the one from Juan. Bye, everyone.
See you guys.